4 inches is about as high as you can go and still be able to see over clearly and not be a safety issue.
And I know that when you brought this legislation before us in subcommittee, the example that you used was someone not only maybe just having 4 inches, it seemed to be much more substantial than that, and they were using some form of a camera to be able to drive, so it was impossible for them to see over the top. But you're saying if the difference between 3.9 inches and 4 inches is someone being able to see and drive?
Excuse me.
You're recognized.
You're getting into semantics right now. 3.9 inches, 4 inches. You know, no measurement is exact, but we're calling it 4 inches, and that's about this height that you can see over your hood. Follow up?
Indeed. And so this is my point exactly. The law enforcement officers are going to have a ruler out and spend time determining whether or not it's 3.9 inches or 4.1 inches to address the issue of, I believe you called it, road runs that are happening, because you said there have been a few instances where people have had their cars jacked up and it's led to an accident or something like that in your district. But again, my concern is having law enforcement to be looking at cars, trying to guess whether or not it's 3 inches or something like that, is not necessarily in the public safety interest. I think it could, unfortunately, have folks engaging with law enforcement who otherwise would not. And part of what I understand that you're trying to do, and that I really wish this would address, is like if someone is not able to operate their vehicle, driving it in the ways that we would presently assume, like using a camera or something like that to drive your car, like that not being okay, because I could really understand that. But I do believe having a legislation that is attempting to dictate these very potentially small changes and not being exact, right? They're not being an exact number even that you have or that we've been able to get from other states or the Department of Safety makes this much more problematic for me. The implications as it relates to these modifications in our law enforcement officers being used for this reason, this is not something that I am able to support. And because of that lack of exactness, I am concerned about its application and how this gets implemented and who that impacts negatively. And I understand with road runs, a lot of the cars that are extremely expensive, people probably aren't riding on the road, right? You do put it in a trailer, and you just want it to be for show. And so I don't want this to become a carte blanche for folks who do alter their vehicles to then end up being stopped unnecessarily when it's not even related to road runs or rod runs in particular. And so for those reasons, I'm still